very slightly, and you're either holding a little ball in front of you or you're holding a big ball. Now, how do you want to hold it? It doesn't matter how you hold it, however it works for you. You might find that your hands don't want to do this and you're going to bring it up higher. Just watch out that you're not doing this and sort of straining on your back here. You're stood fairly upright, but we're all holding a big or a small ball somewhere in front of us. And our legs, they're going to need to be a little bit wider because you don't want to worry too much about your balance now. Now watch out for anything around you, like a dog or a cat or anything else that may come in, just because you're going to be moving your feet. Give it a little side twist. It's not particularly big. We're just warming up. And any time that you think, yeah, I'm done with holding this now, just, you know, drop it down to the ground. You can take it higher if you want to. Sometimes I like to bring my arms in as I'm doing it because when they're long, it feels a bit uncomfortable. Higher, lower, doesn't matter. You can move it more. Now, can you sidestep just holding your ball? You can hold it really close, touching you. You can hold it further away. It will be heavier, but just something. And you can walk around the room with it. And you probably, if you've got the big ball, you won't be able to see your feet. So there's no point looking down, but try and look ahead.
I know how Mr. Blobby felt now. It's like bumping into things.
It's like the biggest belly you could ever have. Perfect. Right, where am I going with this? I've just practiced all this and I just forget it all straight away. Oh, yeah. Right, now we're going to lift the ball a little. And this is where I know I'm going to get tired, so I'm going to change to the other ball. But you want to lift it a little with your arms bent and then give your shoulders just a little wriggle, a little roll. If it feels like too much, put your ball down. And then put your ball down. And it's going to be in front of you. This time, have a big ball in front of you. You can now sit down if you're done with standing and do this next bit sitting, but definitely put your legs wide and sit right on the edge of something. I'm right on the edge of the sofa. Or you can stand, and you see I'm keeping my hand on the ball because it will just roll away. We're going forwards and backwards with it. Push it forwards, and as you push it forwards, particularly if you're standing, your bum goes back. You don't need to bend your knees. Your bum goes back, your hip hinges back, but your knees don't need to bend forwards. They can a bit if you want to go lower, but they really don't have to. We're just trying to get a nice hinge and a straight back. Now, as we're going forwards, a lot of you will know that as you go forward, your back just loves to scoop and dip. So go slower and pull back a little. Real conscious pulling back of the ribs a little, pulling the belly back, all those areas that you know you need to pull back a little to get that straightness in your back and not that big scoop. You can try it with your legs a little wider. You can try it with your legs a little narrower. And as you do this, can you start to press into your heels as you come upwards? And we're just activating the back of our legs up to our glutes. You might feel your glutes, you might not. You might feel your hamstrings, you might not. Right, another option, we can push forwards. If your back is happy with rounding, you can press down lightly into your ball and start to scoop your belly up. It's like a roll-up. And go up as much as you can. And then you can push forwards and scoop up. So that's if your back is happy with it. The weight is supported. So if you've got osteopenia, this is one way of getting an almost roll down without the weight of your spine flexing forwards. If it's not happy with it, stay where you were with the straight back. And then come up and just have a little break for a moment. Oh, some of you are already side to side. That's where we're going next. You're reading my mind. Wide legs when we start in a minute, but you might want a drink for a moment or just a little wriggle. Or something in between, or a bit of ball play.
We just booked a holiday. Guess where?
Oh, I don't know.
It fits the theme.
Somewhere with balls.
Sandy balls. Isn't the New Forest?
I thought you were in the Balearics then or something.
It does. It does. I'm thinking all like heat and everything.
No. New Forest.
Oh, nice to have booked something and having to look
Yeah.
forward to it as well. Right, wider legs. Feet might be pointing outwards somewhere. You want room to push either side. We're going to go one way. Could you use the opposite hand to push over? You can do light touch. You can push a little heavier. But just push over and get that going. That's it. Right now, you can take that leg over a little more and lean with it. Now, if your knees don't like it, don't do that. Just do where we were. And you could do this again from a chair. But it's this sort of cross body.
I'm going to do alternate because it's being weird.
Okay. We're going to swap to the other side or keep alternating. And you can lean over with it, or you can keep your bum and hips sort of where they are and let your upper body lean over. Either way is beneficial. So. And your last one or two, so you might alternate a bit here. You might stop. And then we're going to sit on the ball. First time we've done that, we normally start sitting on the ball. So I thought it was nice to do something a little bit different. Now, if you want a little bit less work and some more stability, either put your ball back against something or even take it to a corner where it's back against two things, because it will just be a bit more stable. Right, we're on our ball. You've got a choice every time you sit on your ball. You can go a little bit forwards. I'm a little bit forwards now, and it sometimes makes things a bit easier. Or you can go right on top of it. It's less stable. It almost feels like I could go backwards. And it's sort of like, it gives you a bit more height, but it makes the balance a little harder. So I'm just going to sit slightly forwards. Could you bounce a little, please? Or as much as you want to. Let's just get some bouncing out of our system. You can bounce side to side. You can just bounce up and down. Whenever I do this, Susie, your bouncing always goes insane.
I did this. I was in labour 20 years ago.
Yeah. And then let everything just settle and the bouncing settle. And bring your legs so that your feet are forwards, but there's some distance. It's bigger than the two fists. You can go narrower if you want. It's just harder to balance. And you might have your hands on the ball. You might have things to the side that you're touching. Go for it if you need to. Grow taller. Take your ribs back a little, a bit of tone, a bit of tension on the belly, because we need that now for pelvic tilts. Breathe into your side ribs. You can have your hands here or on your sides or on your lap. And as you breathe out, this scooping of the belly, pubic bone towards nose. And then as you breathe in, push back. Now, because you've got the ball, you've definitely got feedback for your pelvic tilts right underneath you. So unlike on the chair's not going to move as we do this, but the ball can go backwards and forwards. So. And then come back to the center and just have a little wriggle and a reset. Now we're going to go side to side. It's like you're trying to make one hip come up towards your armpit, then the other hip. And just get that little side to side. And you might find the rest of your body's just having a wriggle with it. So go with what first happens. Let everything move a little bit. And then leave this lower half doing what it's doing. And we're going to tame the upper half and just keep it really serious. It's like business on top, party underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And now you can give it a little sort of like a nudge and a nudge one way, and then a nudge and a nudge the other way. We stay business on top. I always feel like this class is like an after hours class. Different things happen in On the Ball and Boost Your Bones. So you've got it going one way and then the other, and it's quite a sort of cheeky little nudge each way. One more each side, and then come back to the centre, maybe a little bounce to reset, as big or as small as you want. And take your legs a little bit wider. You want to be able to press your feet down. I'm just going to move back a little so that my feet are on my mat rather than the carpet, because I find I get better grip there. Now can you start to take your ball in circles? You'll get all the noises. Either that or it's just me.
No, I'm getting all the noises here.
That's it.
On hard floor.
And then take it the other way. And make these as big as you want. You might find your legs they move a bit more and they stretch out, or you keep it small. It's more about your belly and your core moving. Go with whatever feels nicest for you. But you want your feet, they're giving you good resistance. Lovely. Bring it back to the centre. Right, let me see where we're going next. DS, yeah, oh yeah. Right, now we're going to keep the legs quite wide because it just gives us a bit more support. And let's place our hands somewhere on our chest. And just small rotations. You're just swiveling at the middle here. You might need to pull your ribs back a little at the front just to make sure your back isn't pushing your chest forwards. And so again, a bit of tension in the belly. And make the next one, you're just going to hang out there a little bit. Just hold it there, breathe. And then come back to the centre, have a little wriggle if you want, and then go to the other side and hold it, but breathe. And then come back to the centre, give your shoulders a little wriggle or a roll. You can give your neck maybe a little circle or that sort of horseshoe shaped roll. And then we're going to do some side stretching. So for the side stretching, you could either have your hand like you're about to wave or to your chest and side stretch there. We're going to keep the ball really still though. So that's one way. You could take your arm straight up like you're trying to reach in class, miss, it's me, it's me, it's me. Or you can take it up and over. All of them are good, but I don't want the ball to move. We're just stretching the sides. We're not getting into the hips. And then take it down. And then we'll go the same again, same side. So you might be like this, you might be like this, like going to wave. You might be miss, 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 sir, sir, sir. You might be over the top. And then take it down. Give the shoulders a little shimmy. And then the same on the other side. So you pay attention to what that side needs. It might need something different. I'm just going through all the sort of options. And we'll do a couple. That's it. And just focus on whether it was harder on that side. I could feel I was wanting to wiggle more on that side. It must be stiffer. So you're just noting it for other things that we'll do later. Right, now we're going to move the feet a little. So bring them in a bit. Still quite wide. Feet are facing forwards. We're going to start with the heel raises. I'm getting great cat cam there, Rachel. Always the same. So your heels are going up and down and you're trying to keep everything else really still. One heel at a time. And you want to feel that your ankle's within your control. If you're going up, you can feel it's going out to the side. We need much smaller. And I quite like the hands on the ball. It just keeps it still. Now let's try both together. So it's more of a squeeze into the calf now as you do it. Lovely. Right, now I'm going to come slightly forwards on my ball because I know the next bit I'm going to ask you to lift your feet or lift a leg, and the balance gets a bit harder. So you've got the option of just coming slightly forwards on your ball or being right on top, but the balance is a lot more wobbly. So make a change if you need to. And having your hands on the ball can help here. It could be like that when you don't push into it, or a light pressure into it just gives you a little something, just to get the feet just slightly off the floor. Now try and grow tall as you do this. We are not looking for perfection or like great sort of grace. We're just trying to get the feet slightly off the floor. Lovely. Now it might help to think not about your feet, but just think, how high can I get this thigh? Can I get it closer to me? It might help, how much can I get some distance between my foot and the floor, like it's cold or it's sticky or something that you're like, I don't want to put my foot down. Brilliant. Right, now put the feet down. Can you start to dig a heel forward? So your toe comes towards you and it's like you're trying to dig that heel into the ground, and you'll feel that you're sort of going a little bit side to side. We're trying to do as little side to siding. So you might even take your knees a little closer together. It's a bit more wobbly, but you might be able to stay more stable in the middle, and it starts to ask more of this area. There's more tension on it. Please breathe, by the way. Lovely. Right, now put the feet down. Press your feet downwards a little. Hands stay at the side. We're going to try and extend a leg forwards. First, do it onto the ground. So just extend it away from you and bring your toes towards you. You can't see my feet, but my toes are coming up towards me. And then bring it back. And then the other one. And you're trying not to let your ball roll forwards. So the other foot pressing down is giving you that sort of like the brakes. That's it. Now you can either stay with that, with the leg going down to the ground, or you can try, lift that leg a little and extend it away from you and then put it down. It often will want to go down quite quickly. We're going to go again. Take your time. And if it's really wobbly, just take the legs wider and see what, oh, I don't know if I find this harder. Going out to the side. I find that harder. I'm going straight ahead. But it's worth a try if you want to. And I always find this wobbly. I see, you know, I watch other classes doing this sort of thing and they're there kicking the legs away. And I never get to that point with this ball. Beautiful. You're all doing such a great job. That's it. Right, I can see fatigue is kicking in for all of us. Take it down and then just do something you like. So it might be a little wriggle, it might be a bounce. Might go a little side to side. You can take your hands off and just lift them up somewhere, give them a little clap with your ball, just something where you're challenging your balance a bit, but it's quite fun. You can sort of pat your legs, anything you like. And then take it down. We're going to keep bouncing, but I want you to press down with one foot and not really press with the other, so the other foot becomes a bit light. You might even take a bit of the heel off the floor or lift your toes up a little bit. And then take that foot down. Same on the other side. So just less pressure. So there's nothing to see if I do that, but I'm pressing on this side and not this side. Or lift the heel up a little. Or put the heel down, lift the rest of the foot up a little. Or put them both down and just bounce and just enjoy the bouncing. And then let everything just have a moment. Now the next position we're going to go into, I'll show you what it looks like and then I'll give you some options. If you're comfortable on all fours or you're comfortable, I prefer to have a cushion, to be honest, I'm on my thin mat. We're going to go into this position, push forwards, trying to keep my legs, trying to get them quite straight, and then pull back. Now this is quite strong on the shoulders. So if your shoulders are sore, push forwards, pull back, push forwards, pull back. That's all kneeling. Otherwise, take it to a chair or a bed or something that you can sit on and have the ball in front of you. Push forwards, pull back. So you can push forwards and lean into it and then put a bit of pressure and pull back, but it will get into these areas. If that's too much, more upright. So you're pushing forwards, pulling back, and you're hardly moving forwards and backwards. You decide how much pressure you want to put on. And you can use hands, forearms. It's all good. I'm seeing clasped hands and I like it because that's a really nice way to sort of keep your hands and wrists out of it, but give your forearms some of the work. You can take it really slow. That's it. And you can feel the pulling back particularly gets into the core. You can let the core really do the work. It's not just the arms and the shoulders. And we'll do 1 or 2 more of these. We'll just take a break. And then come to upright so I can show you the next position. I'm going to move my cushion out of the way. So the next position is when we're going to put our belly against the ball. And we can straighten our legs. You could have your legs down and if your knees are comfortable going downwards. Or my favourite, because my toes not so happy curling under, I like to go right against the chest of drawers and my feet are sort of jammed against that. And you can see my chest is just at the sort of top of the ball. Watch the low back here. You may have that feeling of having to almost flatten your back or pull your belly away from the ball. But you can also do the same thing from a chair, but you need your legs wide so the ball can go between your legs. Go forwards and you're just going to hold it somewhere. Could rest your forearm on the ball. You could have your hands far away from you. We're trying to get into a sort of plank position, but first just have a little bit of seeing what it's like to have your belly on it. You want your head and shoulders higher than your hips. So if you're seated, they'll definitely be higher than your hips. And you might go off and on and just push forwards and backwards a little. But you can also take your legs wider and just hold it. You're trying to gaze down, or you could let your head flop for a bit and then bring it up. Use your arms to help. That's it. So the part we're trying to get movement into is this thoracic spine. It's not lumbar. It's not this low part of our spine. That's it. And then you can either come off the ball or just hold it there. So you might just come off, go onto your knees. You might come off and just sit by the side of it for a moment, just to give yourself a break. Or if you're happy flopped over it, you can stay flopped over it. But just have a little wriggle and ease off. You're right, Sophie.
Yeah.
That looked like a quicker coming off.
Yeah, kind of pushed me off onto the mat, but that's fine.
Right, the next one we're going to do is the same sort of position. So if I was doing the next one seated, I'm going to hold it forwards, and I quite like this with my arms resting together on the ball. And then I'm bringing the tension to my ribs and belly and pulling back, so they're not actually against the ball on this one, but it's going to create the same effect for the spine. So there's a bit of space between my chest and my belly and the ball. I'm not weighing into it. And I'm just going to lift an arm back, put it down, and the other arm back. We're trying to get extension into thoracic, so that's like your neck to your waist. If I'm doing this on the ball, I can either do it with my knees down, lifting my head and chest just away, and my gaze is ahead, and I can lift an arm out to the side. I could take it lower and do like a little wing out to the side there. And if I need to flop down every now and again, I will. Head to the side or my chin there. You might feel you can do it with your legs straight, one arm at a time. flying sort of impression. But don't be afraid to take it back to a chair and do it from here, because you're getting the same sort of effect. There's less weight going through things when you do it this way. So it's always a way to do it. You just want to feel you're in control of it and the ball is not going to run away with you. Because as some of us know, that's not a great feeling. And mate, whatever you're doing now, the last sort of pose, you can hold it if you like. Maybe give your fingers a wiggle. And then take it down. And we're going to end into a lying on the floor position with the ball under our legs. That's where we're going next. So now take your time getting there. You might have to really change things up. You might want a cushion for underneath your head. Bring the timer down with us. And just give yourself a bit of a break. Now, if you're doing this seated, Hazel, you're already there. Seated with the ball underneath you, if that feels good, or you could take your legs down at any time.
Yeah, I forgot about bringing a mat.
Oh, what, are you on a hard floor?
Yeah, it's disgusting as well.
Well, some of these you could do with your smaller ball, I think, as well. But for the moment, with the big ball and your legs on it like that, if that feels nice, just go with it. So just have a little sway. Let everything start to sink into your mat or your chair. And you just want to notice the bits that you can really sort of rely on, the bits you can really feel, like the back of your head, and maybe the heaviness in the back of your pelvis, your sacrum sort of area. And if your legs are swaying, you'll just feel the weight just shifting from side to side. You want quite floppy feet. You can have the ball a little bit forwards and your legs a bit less bent, not completely straight, or you can hug it really close to you and it's supporting the back of your thighs and your legs are just flopped onto it. Let your arms flop somewhere, floor, your lap, just let them find something supportive. Let your breath just slow down for a moment because we've done some quite odd things. And then find a stillness. And just start on really small pelvic tilts. So you don't really want to feel much pressure going through your legs. You want to feel your belly doing the work. That's it. Also got the option, maybe you want your head to roll from one side to the other and just give your neck a passive turn. And then bring your arms closer to your sides, palms downwards. So I'm going to give you two options. I'm going to start with the option that's not going to involve any head lifting or neck lifting. You take a nice wide breath in. And as you breathe out, your arms slide down the floor like your fingers are reaching towards the ball. And then your arms very slightly hover like you're going to do the hundreds, but we're not. And then take them down and let them just flop. So if you're doing this seated, your arms would go ahead and reach away from you and then come back. And then go down by your sides. So breath in, breathing out, your arms slide along the floor and then they just lift a little. The whole arm just hovers off the floor and goes down. How high you hover might be barely lifting off the ground. It might be 3 inches or like 10 centimeters, something like that, and then take them down. Now, if you are comfortable lifting your head and chest, you can bring that in too. And when you do this, your eyes are going to start looking at your thighs. So you take your breath in. And as you breathe out, those arms slide forwards and start to hover, and your head and chest just come up, and you're looking directly at your thighs, maybe directly at the ball, and then you take it down. Now, if you find that you want to do it, but it's too heavy with your head, you can have one hand helping your head. So one hand goes behind your head and just sort of hammocks and cradles it up and take it down. I like doing it that way. I find my head heavy. But you don't have to lift the head at all. You can just be lifting the arms, hover, and then take them down.
I've
So
got
I'm gonna do a few more.
I've got a slightly deflated ball, small ball under my head.
Okay.
And that's working really well, like instead of a cushion. And as
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
lifting my head up, it's kind of coming up with me a little bit and then going back down. So it's giving me a bit of support.
Oh, that's a good idea. If you've
Yeah.
got like a ball that's sort of really, really squished them.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's sort of anything that you want. You sort of want to strengthen the neck a little bit. And to be honest, all of this, from just lifting the arms, you'll get a little bit of tension into the neck, but really super small, to lifting the head right up with no support, to having something underneath. It's all a bit of neck strengthening. Last one. And then take your arms somewhere comfortable. Do something nice. I'm going for like a little sway of my legs side to side. You might want to let your head really passively roll from side to side as well, just a bit, just to remind it that all those neck muscles can now relax a little bit. Right, next, shall we try the ball between our legs and the lifting it? Now, Hazel, this definitely isn't going to work sitting up. But if you take your legs wide, you might be able to hold the ball between. I would not try lifting if you're sitting. But just squeezing inwards, I think, would be good. But otherwise, can you take your legs wide and not your feet down to the floor, your feet to the sides of the ball, quite low down. And you're sort of hugging the ball. And just see if you can bring the ball a little closer to you. It's just like a little rocking movement. You're going to need to squeeze a bit inward. Quite interesting, isn't it? You can do more than we think. And then when you want to have a break, have a break. Maybe slide your feet a little further down, closer to the floor. Same again, you might find that ball just curls towards you. Your back doesn't need to do anything. We're not lifting our bums up. Lovely. Now you can now stay with this. You might want to take breaks. You might be able to squeeze it, lift it, and then take it a little higher. Oh, and then take it down and have a little rest. Perfect. You might be able to take it to the ceiling and straighten your legs. I do find my feet tend to sickle because my feet want to hold it more than my legs do. And the other option, only if your arms are happy, is to lift it up in the air, hold it then with your hands, your legs stay in the air, and then give it back to your legs and your legs take it down. Now you can do that with a small ball as well. So if it's all getting a bit much with these wide legs, use the little ball and it's much more forgiving. The big ball is giving us a big wide leg workout on these inner muscles. We're going to do one more of those. I'm glad we did it though. Oh. Then take the ball down, put your feet right on top of it. And then push the ball away and bring it back. Push the ball away, just roll it away. If you're seated, probably a little ball. Or maybe the big ball. But we're just trying to do something that is now quite soothing for the legs. The lengthening is nice because we've just been bending and squeezing them. And then bring the ball back towards you and rest your calves on it. You can have your legs at 90 so that that ball is right in against your thighs, or a bit further away. Your legs a bit wider. Arms outwards. Keep your body on the mat and let the legs go one side. Just sway to one side. And back to the centre. And sway to the other side. You can press your feet and your calves just gently into the ball. It'll just keep it a little more under control. That's it. And if you're seated, it's just a little gentle roll one way and a roll the other. But the ball it's harder to control, I think, in that position. That's it. And then we can roll the ball away and just let our legs find the floor. Oh, I don't know about you, but my legs are tired. So if you want to, they could sway on the floor, or they might want to go long and just find the floor and get the support from the floor. And perhaps give your ankles a bit of a mobilizing session, some circles and some waves. And then you can bend your legs, maybe roll onto your side and bring yourself just up to a seating position just to finish. Any seated position. We're all now upright and we've all survived. Roll your shoulders.
That was fun.
It was amazing seeing you all do the stuff, because it's really hard. That's the first time I did a ball class. I was going to cover a teacher and I went to her class and sort of had a go at her class, and she had them all doing that straight away, and I had the ball up there thinking, oh my God, it's going to fall on my head. I think it asks quite a lot of the legs.
Yeah, that last bit certainly did.
Yeah.
So you may feel this tomorrow. Your legs may be just a little bit achier than normal. Hopefully it will wear off in a couple of days. Right, let's take our hands out to the side, scoop up the air, bring your hands together into your chest. Really thank your legs today. Those inner